Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Well, we're now just about through February here in Wisconsin, and who in this room, I guess more snow is on the way, who in this room is absolutely sick of winter? Yeah. Easy question to answer. Well, tonight's your lucky night as we take a virtual journey from this to the warm waters of the Caribbean. Shortly before my wife, Susie, and I were engaged, we took a trip to St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and on that trip, we really decided that right then and there that we would spend an extended time living somewhere tropical, somewhere without winter, well before we hit official retirement age. So 8 years after making that decision, we became official residents of the British Virgin Islands, residency permits and all, the beginning of what we like to call our sabbatical. We spent our first year there land-based with a powerboat for short island hopping and fishing. And our original plan called for 1 year on Tortola, but we learned, in fact, that island time passes quickly. So we loved it there. We love life on land, but we love life on the water as well, time on the powerboat and some time chartering cruising sailboats. So we decided that year 2 should involve living on a boat. There are sailboats out there, fortunately, for just about every taste and budget. We chose a 40-foot sailboat made by Beneteau because it was big enough to be comfortable, but small enough that Susie and I could manage the boat with just the two of us. And we also chose this particular boat because it came outfitted, ready for the kind of cruising that we wanted to do. The boat's name was Orchid, which was the name that the original owner had given to the boat. When you sail, you realize that there are many, many nautical superstitions, several of which involve naming boats. And while I wasn't a huge fan of the name Orchid, I had some other names in mind. And I'm not superstitious. I decided I'm not going to risk it, and so we just kept the name. Orchid was pretty much like a floating apartment. She had 3 double berths, 2 baths with showers, a gas-powered galley stove, refrigerator, freezer, charcoal grill, hot and cold water, and even air conditioning, which we occasionally used in marinas, but not when at anchor. The main modification that we made to Orchid was to add a wind generator. So you sail, you're powered by wind, but we also powered the batteries by wind most of the time because the trade winds blow pretty frequently. So we used the generator to keep our batteries topped up so we could power our cabin lights, GPS, cell phones, laptops, all that good stuff on the boat without running our diesel engine. We departed Tortola at the tail end of a hurricane season, the sun setting behind us, with a loose plan to go as far south as Grenada kind of quickly and then slowly island hop back up the Eastern Caribbean through Tortola into the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. And in cruising terms, slowly or quickly means a couple of weeks. Slowly meant several months. So throughout these months, we visited just about every island in the Eastern Caribbean. Dozens of islands, a lot of which are not even on this map. And most of them are their own country, which made for some interesting stories clearing in and out of customs in small Caribbean nations. With life on a boat, you get to spend time in some absolutely incredible places, like the one here. This is an area known as the Pitons on the island of St. Lucia. The local beer on St. Lucia is also, some trivia, is also called Piton, and it's quite tasty, particularly when you're anchored there. The island of Dominica is really, I think, the current hidden gem in the Caribbean for all the cruising that we did. And note, I'm talking about Dominica, not the Dominican Republic. There's a big difference there. Dominica is still largely undiscovered, and the terrain there is so rugged that large sections of the island have never been explored by humans, although we tried, as you can see in this picture. Sometimes we'd spend our nights anchored in our own private bay. Other times we'd find ourselves anchored next to tiny boats or even $100 million mega yachts. It really depended. But sailing is really cool because it offers this level playing field, and no matter the size of your boat, everybody gets to share the same beaches, drink the same local rum, and enjoy the same sunsets. When our friends would ask us about our sailing adventures, they sometimes wanted to know about our favorite island, our favorite spots, like this beach here in Virgin Gorda, but they always wanted to know if we encountered anything dangerous, anything life-threatening, any big storms, pirates, terrible conditions at sea, that sort of thing. This is not Orchid. But hurricanes are one of the most dangerous things that you can encounter while sailing. Fortunately, modern technology, even not very modern technology allows us to track these storms at least a few days out. And all the islands you saw on that map are only about a day or two sail away. So there's really no excuse when you're cruising, to the disappointment of our friends. There's really no excuse to be at sea during one of these storms. We rode out Hurricane Omar, which was a Category 4 hurricane, while we were safely on land and the boat tied up at a marina. We sipped rum with friends until the power went out, then we went to bed and proceeded to pick up blowing sticks and leaves and stuff the next day in the morning. The biggest common dangers that we encounter are squalls, which are small, really powerful storms that crop up generally with little or no warning. And they produce strong winds, cold rain. Occasionally, they produce water spouts. I think you can kind of see the one here, like I photographed just north of St. Thomas. A squall lasting only about 5 minutes took down a boat like Orchid, actually sunk a boat like Orchid not far off of Tortola when it got tipped over. The sailors on board had all their hatches open, the boat filled with water and sank. So best thing to do in a squall, put on your spray gear like I did, close your hatches and then ride them out. They pass really quickly. And when they do pass, the sky is primed for rainbows. You see them all the time when sailing. It's a real treat. The rainbows pop up, you take your spray gear off, and then it's back to warm water, warm breezes, sun, and waves. So you move really quickly from the lows of the squalls to the highs of cruising. So if you've ever dreamed of kissing winter goodbye for a year or two, why not go for it? There are always dozens of perfectly logical reasons not to do something, and I'll guarantee that the timing will never be quite right for something like this. So don't wait around for the perfect opportunity. Take the leap and don't look back.